Hi, this is Sinead Babington from the podcast Round by Round Boxing, normally a podcast dedicated to boxing in Spanish here in Mexico, but today coming to you in English ahead of the big fight tomorrow for all of the titles in welterweight in the female boxing bout between Jessica McCaskill and Alma Ibarra. Jessica McCaskill, obviously the champion, holding all of the titles, and Alma, the number one ranked in I think two of the different organisms, the boxing, and ranked number two in another. She's been looking for this fight for a bit of time now. They tried to get her on a few days' notice when it turned out that Jessica McCaskill ended up fighting Candy White, who Alma had already won in an eliminatory for this title fight against Jessica. So the time is finally here. Wanted to do a quick video about who is Alma and what I think about the fight that's coming tomorrow. If you have a quick look at Alma Ibarra's social media on Instagram, which a lot of us do when we want to see who's fighting who, you will see a lot of the posts are pictures of women who are with the typical ribbon and the purple color for the feminism here in Mexico. For anyone that doesn't know, unfortunately, there is a lot of women that have lost lives usually at the hands of men. A lot of them never got justice. A lot of women missing, also men, but a lot more women also missing that have never found justice. And it just seems that the women here are trying to raise their voices and shout out for justice, but some of them unfortunately no longer have voices. So Alma, if you look at her social media, is very passionate about this. She actively helps in the searches for women in her area in Nuevo León in Mexico, to actually in the searches in finding missing women, and probably stems mainly from the fact that she has been subject to an abduction in the past. Actually, when she was in trials for the Olympics, her and her trainer were abducted for I think about 24 hours and then released. She doesn't know why. They didn't ask for money, but that shock and scare put her off track for the Olympic trials, and obviously gave her the fright of her life. Being a single mother who has a son, she is now obviously grateful that she got another chance, and she's using her platform and her voice in the help for these women that unfortunately no longer have a voice. And as you'll see in the weigh-in, and tomorrow in the fight, she's got the word justicia, which means justice, on her top, being the voice for those who no longer have one. So more into the details of the fight. Alma is ranked number one in two of the organisms for the title, and number two in another. She bet Candy White previously in an eliminatory for the chance for this title shot, and then later Jessica fought Candy White because I think on a last minute they tried to get Alma, but Alma didn't want the fight in 5 days' notice. She wanted a proper training camp, so that she gets an equal opportunity to win the titles. So they instead fought Candy White. So now she's finally got her chance with a proper training camp. So she has been training hard for this opportunity. For those that don't know Alma, she's got a good amateur background. It's unusual here in Mexico to have champions in divisions like welterweight. A lot of the champions are in the smaller weight divisions. Alma is 7 times national champion in Mexico, has got placed in second and third place in Pan American Games, Central American Games. She has shared the ring with some well-known champions now. While she was amateur, she has shared the ring with champions such as Clarissa Shields. And in her professional career has had a good run. She's got a record not far off that of Jessica McCaskill's with 10 wins, 5 by the way of knockout, and just 1 loss. Her only loss came in 2019 against Raquel Miller, which is an undefeated boxer. This in super welter, but Raquel Miller, I think, on her box rec is actually down as a super middleweight boxer. But after that, after a bit of inactivity due to the pandemic in 2021, she came back and she fought against Maricela Cornejo, and won by unanimous decision. Maricela being the favourite. This was in middleweight, but Alma didn't want to turn down the opportunity and stepped up to the challenge. If you haven't already seen it, I recommend that you watch it on YouTube. Alma, although stepping up to fight at middleweight, looked the stronger boxer, worked really well and won a really good clear decision, unanimous decision to Maricela Cornejo. Since then, she has had a 3-fight winning streak. So Maricela, Candy Wyatt, which was the eliminatory that I just mentioned for the title fight, and then had a keep busy fight and won by knockout. So now finally her chances here for all of the titles in welterweight against Jessica McCaskill. A lot of you probably are familiar with Jessica McCaskill. She's been in the ring with Katie Taylor, which is one of her 2 losses. Another loss came way back in 2016 against a boxer debuting that I think is no longer active. But since then, she has been on a winning streak, winning by way of unanimous decision against the likes of Erica Farias and Nahi Sanchez, and obviously challenging the champion at the time, Cecilia Breakhouse, and taking all of the titles off Cecilia. Since then, she has defeated her again by unanimous decision in the rematch, and then faced Candy Wyatt on a few days' notice and won by knockout in round 7. So Jessica comes with a record of 11 wins, 4 by the way of knockout and 2 losses. Neither boxers have been knocked out. Jessica McCaskill, if you're familiar, is a boxer that puts a lot of pressure on, comes forward, kind of with wild swinging punches. I think in her last fight, I have seen her starting to refine a little bit her technique, but her, by all means, it works. What she does works. She has kind of a bully effect in the ring where she just does not stop coming forward, throwing large volumes of punches, which can be very difficult for some boxers to handle. Katie Taylor, obviously, when she fought her, was able to turn her and use her, exit out of the exchanges and be faster and counter punches to win by unanimous decision. But since then, the other fighters that she's faced just haven't been able to get the better of McCaskill with her uncomfortable style, I would say. Alma, I think, has more experience because of her amateur background. I think has a good boxing IQ. If you look at the weigh-in, looks a lot taller. Will probably rehydrate and come in the stronger fighter. She is training very hard for this. She's a single mother and wants to be the voice for all of the women in Mexico that don't have one. She's very determined, obviously, knowing that this is her big opportunity to get on the world stage and for everybody to know her name. I have no doubt that everybody will know her name after this fight. So I expect the fight tomorrow is going to be wild. It's going to be entertaining. It's going to be a war. We've got Alma, a Mexican, Jessica McCaskill with Mexican blood, definitely fights like a Mexican. So it's bound to have fireworks. I think a lot of people not knowing Alma Ibarra's name, probably expecting Jessica to come out victorious. But I don't think this is going to be an easy fight by any means for Jessica McCaskill. And I am going for Alma to come out victorious in this fight. with the upset against the current champion with all of the titles in welterweight.